Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So I'm asking the question in this video, and it's one that I am sure has been asked countless times, not just in Yu-Gi-Oh, but in all card games for sure. And that is, what does one do with / how does one manage their crappy ass common collection? And I mean, we all have them. And you guys know that it is just an absolute freaking headache to deal with. And you can get a crappy common collection a couple of ways. Number one would probably be just prize support / entry fee into a tournament, anything competitive. Like if you go to locals, you win some packs, or if you go to regionals, you know, you get like 5 packs. Or the second would be probably the more common way, and that's when you buy Yu-Gi-Oh products. You buy structure and starter decks, booster packs. You may get some good cards, but usually you get way more bad ones than good. And a lot of times you get, you know, support that is linked to archetypes that never become competitive, or you just get poorly designed cards that are just garbage from Jump Street, and you can look at the card and you're like, this card's never going to be really good. So my personal solution was to just throw them all into a shoebox in pretty much the most random order that you could think of. This was until I noticed that the shoebox was pretty much getting full. So you know what I did after that? I got another shoebox and I just threw them in random order again. And it really was, I guess, it was kind of working until over the weekend. I was building Chain Burn, as you guys know, and I needed to find one card that I couldn't find a third copy of, and that was Accumulated Fortune for my Chain Burn deck. And you know, I can only find 2. I've played Chain Burn in the past, so I was like, okay, I know I have another Accumulated Fortune. It must be in my crappy ass common box. So I start digging through there. I noticed that some of the cards that I've thrown in there are damaged and whatnot. And in the process of looking for that single copy of Fortune, these are some of the cards that I found. And this is 100% real. I have nothing to gain from lying, so there's really no need to use deception. I found a full playset of Fairy Winds. I found 2 Summoner's Arc. I found some Madoche stuff, a non-fusion area. That's a pretty decent side deck card against Shadows. It was even better last format when they had Super Poly. It could be useful next format against like Mass Heroes. I haven't actually tested it, but just in theory, you know, I found the Stygian Dirge, a playset of Mirror of the Ice Barriers, which if it's good against Niklavs, it could possibly jump in price just because it's from Starstrike Blast. And I felt really stupid, especially considering that, if you remember, at the beginning of this format, I actually checked through one of my crappy common boxes and I found 2 Vanity's Emptiness and an LOB Regeki. So it's like, well, number one, how did I not find these cards when I searched through the first time? And then number 2, it's like, how many great cards am I going to have to find in this crappy common box for me to realize, like, hey, the current system isn't working? And this actually ended up hurting me, because over the past few tournaments where I've played Evil Swarms, I've been kicking myself like, man, I really wish I had some Fairy Winds every time I go against, you know, Quillos. But I'm like, I don't want to drop 16, 17 bucks on a playset of a card that, you know, like, I don't want to pay $6 for a common or something like that. So I basically tried to rectify the situation, and you should be looking at pictures of kind of my new setup. I took all the cards out after, you know, kind of separating the good ones. I cleaned them up. I put them in a, you know, a nice, neat order. And I guess that my solution is going to probably be to start checking these, you know, probably once a format or so, just to see if, you know, there are any cards that became somewhat relevant or could become somewhat relevant. Because when you're dealing with, you know, your old crappy common boxes, a lot of times the sets that these cards come from, they're almost certainly out of print for like years. I mean, in this crappy common box, I mean, I've got Duelist Revolution and Extreme Victory, Stardust Overdrive. I think that was the name of the set. I have so many sets that you have no chance of finding, and it's like, these could actually be worth something if I keep them in fairly good shape and I have them at the right time. So my question for you guys is, and I'm sure that especially if you guys vend, you have tons of them, what do you do with your crappy commons? Like, how do you deal with this issue? I think I've seen like Robbie in his collection a couple of times, and he just has them like all over the place. I mean, it's almost at the point where he should just go to fucking like U-Haul and get a storage locker or something like that for him. So whatever you do or whatever you think is the best solution, leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always. Subscribing makes life happy.